Ascension. What does it mean? How are we to understand what's happening in this profound time of transition and transformation? If we are in a time of ascension, what can we expect? And how do we prepare for it? And how do we even know that it's happening? This is what I want to talk with you about today. My name is Heather Ensworth. I have a background in cultural anthropology, in psychology, in shamanic wisdom. I've been studying ancient prophecies and myths and visiting sacred sites around the planet to understand their energies and the ways in which they have encoded messages to us about this time that we're in now. I'm also an astrologer, really listening and attuning to the messages of the stars, and in particular the meaning of the precessional cycle. For years, I feel like I have been drawn onto a path to remember this ancient wisdom, this ancient understanding of the meaning of the 25,000-year precessional cycle and what it means for us here on the planet and what it means for us now that we are at the ending of one 25,000-year precessional cycle and the beginning of a new one. That these ancient prophecies from the Mayans, the Hopis, the Hindus, and many others have talked about this as a time when we move into a whole new consciousness, a whole new paradigm and way of being on this planet. This is a profound time to be alive and to be here. We are incredibly privileged to be on the planet in this time. But what does it all mean? And how do we understand this process that we're in? As I said, I've been studying this for years, but also remembering it, feeling in my intuition and in my dreams and in my meditation times, guidance about this time. I've also studied with shamans and medicine people from around the globe. As an astrologer, I've had the privilege of doing readings with people from countries all over the world who are also tuning in to the energies of this time of ascension. And I learn an enormous amount through listening to all of you. And also know that we are all feeling these energies. We are all intuiting what's going on. As we open more and more fully to the energies of ascension, it will become increasingly more clear, this profound shift that we're in. So what is it all about? It is extraordinary that it is encoded in the sky. It's written in the monuments on the earth. As above, so below. The messages are all around us. In the sky, we monitor the precessional cycle, which is this 25,000-year cycle of, from our Earth's perspective, the sky shifts 1 degree every 72 years. This means if we're tracking the stars in the sky at a particular point in the year, at the vernal equinox, then over about a 2,000-year period, the stars that are rising before sunrise at the time of the spring equinox will shift from one constellation on the ecliptic to the next. This is the meaning of moving from one astrological age to the next. We're now moving from the stars of Pisces being there before sunrise at the time of spring equinox to the stars of Aquarius. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. But what's even more extraordinary is that we are at the end of a 25 1,000-year precessional cycle and the beginning of a new one. How is that marked? How do we know that? It comes from the alignment of the sun at the time of winter solstice with the galactic equator, such that the sun at the time of winter solstice is in alignment with the center of our galaxy. This is the configuration that happened winter solstice 2012. And our sun at the time of winter solstice is still very much within that framework. That is what marks the end of a precessional cycle and the beginning of a new one. The ancient prophecies about this time speak of this as a time when we move into a golden age. We move into a whole new way of being, a new paradigm, new consciousness. This is what many people are describing as our move into the fifth dimension. What does that mean? It means that we're moving into a time of unity consciousness. We're moving into a period when the dominant energy will be the energy of love, community, collaboration, connection, our understanding that we are in fact a part of the oneness of all that is. And we come back into right relationship with ourselves, with each other, with the earth, with the cosmos. We've come out of a period of, as the Hindus would call it, a time of darkness, a time of ignorance, when we've forgotten what we once knew. We've come through a period that's been characterized by greed, abuse of power, violence, corruption, the dominance of the ego, the patriarchal period where there's been a devaluation of the sacred feminine, a devaluation of women, and a disconnection from the sacredness of our Mother Earth. All of this is shifting. We're going through a time right now that is turbulent. It's a time of transformation. It's a time when we're called to heal, to prepare, because we are in fact moving into this time of ascension when we will be utterly transformed, individually and collectively. And our earth herself is going through a time of healing and transformation. This precessional cycle is a profound cycle for us around earth changes and around shifts in our human consciousness. It's particularly significant when we come to the end of that precessional cycle or the midway point. About 12,000 years ago, we were at the midpoint of this precessional cycle. And what was occurring on the earth at that time? A huge time of cataclysmic change. That was when we were moving out of the last ice age into this warmer period. There were massive floods, earthquakes, volcanic activity around the earth, such that there was a massive extinction of human life, of animal life, and radical earth changes. It's as if in this precessional cycle we hit the midpoint, and it's a time when the earth resets, and we're called to reset. It was a time of radical shift through the energy of water, with these floods that caused massive damage around the globe and really triggered a whole new cycle for human history that we are now recovering from. And one of the things that's important to remember is that in our cellular memory, we remember that trauma. That PTSD is encoded in all of us. which I believe is why there's such a fascination right now with films, with books about the apocalypse, about the end times, about the destruction of the earth. We at some level remember going through that trauma that occurred on the earth. It's in our cells. But that is not what this time at the end of the precessional cycle is about. This isn't about trauma. This is about ascension. And this transformation will come through the energy of fire, not water. It will come through the energy of the sun and the cosmic rays that are coming to us through our sun that are going to be transforming us physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, on all levels. How do we understand this and how do we prepare for this? What's most important is to not get caught in fear, but to trust that we are a part of this incredible time of transition and transformation, and that we are being held and guided through it. So it's important to trust in that, to not get caught into fear. It's important to do everything you can during this time of transition to heal, to clear what you need to clear in your life, to resolve issues that are unresolved, to deal with the wounds from the past, to deal with issues in relationships in your life now. Take this time to heal and to grow in consciousness and to raise your vibrational level. The more that you're in this process of healing and raising your consciousness, the more that you will feel these energies, these currents of this time of ascension moving you in a way that you're very much in aligned with those energies and not caught in turbulence. The more that we're resisting this time of transition and transformation, the more turbulent this time will be. So honor the shift that we're in. Don't get caught in fear. Take time to heal. Take time to meditate. Do the inner work that you need to do. Connect with others who are also on a spiritual journey and understanding the energies of this time. Seek support in community. Really be conscious of what you eat and of exercising and of doing things that help you physically, emotionally, and spiritually be in alignment and in right relationship with your body, with yourself, with others, with the earth. Take time in nature. Ground yourself. Listen to the energies of nature and be healed by the energies of the plants and animals around you. They feel this shift and are in tune with it and can help us be in tune with it. This is an amazing time, and it is a profound gift to be here in this time. And in my next video, I want to talk more about my sense of the timing of this shift and what we might expect in terms of the stages of this transformational time. We know that winter solstice 2012 was a critical marker. That was, for the Mayans, the end of a world age and the beginning of this new world age that we're in. We know that that was also the mark of the end of this 25,000-year precessional cycle and the beginning of a new one, and that it's marking our move into the age of Aquarius. We're in that transition. We're in that shift. And the stars and planets are guiding us to understand what are the next phases in that shift. And I truly believe that we are going to be moving more fully into the energies of ascension and of this new consciousness between now and 2024. And there are some significant dates that mark some of the shifts that we're going to be experiencing as we move through these next several years. And that is what I'll discuss in my next video. Blessed be.